Nangobi Perida is my name. I teach in Viala Primary School. It is just along the road, Jinja to Kamuli, after the roundabout going to Kampala. I'm a Ugandan. I've been teaching in Viala Primary School for almost 7 years. I know what takes place in Viala Primary School, the community, the teachers, and most of the pupils. This school involves both girls and boys. It is a UPE school. I've been there as a deputy, and I've been a deputy for 10 years. I was posted there as deputy head teacher of Viala Primary School. I'm a counselor. I've been counseling these pupils, both the girls and the boys. Since this school is a UPE, we have some challenges, sometimes which lead to the dropouts of the girl child. You find that UPE, as a policy of the government, it requires all the pupils to pass or to be promoted from one class to another. And you find that even those pupils who are not able to go to the following class or the next class are promoted. And this causes a danger to some of these pupils who are unable to perform in the next class. As time goes on, you find that when a child is in a class where she can't fit, sometimes she finds it a problem and she drops out. Sometimes you find that causes that dropout are the friends who go on telling you are not meant to be in this class because you are not performing. Therefore, that drops out. Similarly, you find that this policy, some of the parents are not able to feed their pupils, their children. But the policy is saying that the child has to be at school, whether she eats or not, she has to be there. A child cannot study on an empty stomach. A child has to be fed because she feels hungry like any other person. And some of these parents, the owners of these children, cannot afford to pay or to buy or to give them food, because sometimes even these parents have only one meal. When they have lunch, they can't get supper. When they have supper, they get lunch. So you find that it is a great challenge. They can't pack for their children, so they go on fasting. And indeed, if a child, a girl child, finds somebody maybe on the way, a male, to give her something, of course she has to give in. And indeed, you find that that child drops out when she has even conceived. There are so many challenges with UPE which are causing dropouts, especially with the girl child. Find that most of these children in the UPE schools, especially mine where I teach, Viala Primary School, find that most of these children are orphans. They are living with the guardians who don't care. They are not supportive at all. They lack scholastic materials. A child comes to school without a pen, without a book, and if they are given, they are not enough. They are very inadequate. Therefore, you find that a child cannot continue with education. She has to drop out. You find that these UPE schools, the teachers are not supposed to touch these children, the pupils. When you do so as it used to be in the early 80s, the early 70s, whereby the children used to be at least given a slight punishment and there was nobody to complain. These days it can't happen. When you happen to do it, a parent will have to report you. An incident took place whereby there was a teacher. This teacher was teaching in P5. This is a teacher who didn't even touch the pupil, but the pupil went on reporting parent because they heard that the teachers their salaries had been increased. So this parent went on reporting to the RDC that the child had been beaten. These people came, inspected, we went to police, we took the attendance and the arrival, and we found out that that teacher was not there that day. So the teacher escaped the punishment. So you find so many problems. A teacher cannot tolerate to continue having this child generally who reported her or him that such and such a thing happened, yet it didn't take place. These parents are primitive. The parents around those areas, most of them are primitive. Why are they primitive? Most of them are dropouts. And the children they are bringing to this school happen also to drop out because they don't have any good example for them. Their parents are dropouts. Their grands are dropouts. Do you expect these people to continue with education? Their mentors are dropouts, which means what they tell them is contrary to what would have been told them, such that they could continue with their education. That's why you find so many dropouts from this school. And the dropouts begin from P5. There is an incident which took place in P4. A child conceived when she was in P4. She was around 12, 13, around there. Yeah. Socially, there are so many problems causing the dropouts. But when you look at the attendance, you find that the girls do love coming to school. They do love coming to school, and when you go to classes, generally you find that girls are more than the boys. Only that, again, the parents do us a disservice. When it is rainy, they tend to let these girls start home and help them in their gardens. Sometimes they take them to help them in babysitting. I'm going to dig, you help me and keep your friend, like that, and so on and so forth. So when we try to inquire, they really tell us their problems. Mommy told me to keep the child. Mommy told me to go to the garden, and they continue missing. That's why you find that even the performance goes down. When you look at the community itself, the community itself is not all that very good. Why? Because the environment where this community is, you find so many pheromones. These people live, sometimes escape from school during class hours. They go for pheromones. There is a lodge around, very big lodge. One time we even got one child from there, and she was in P7. You find a girl from P7 going to a lodge. It is really embarrassing. And this child, in fact, dropped out. She didn't complete because she was embarrassed when we got her. So there are so many challenges.